My dad died suddenly. It was the panic attacks that come out of nowhere. I've always been a bit of a Dell boy, do you know what I mean? I'd actually like it if China just shuts the internet down. I worked at a fish and chip shop, and I worked there for a couple of summers to save up for some decks. I was on like £2.30 an hour or something. And I bought these Newmark belt drives, like really shit decks, and just bought 2 records, and they didn't even fucking match. Got to the end of the night, we were walking out, I see him in the medical room, and I said, oh, that's my mate. And she said, oh, I found him trying to pick his own shadow up. That's not the club I went to. Everyone was suing on each other when I was there. I flew there, they got the sets wrong, and I played 45 minutes and got them back on the plane home. I went on after Josh Butler, and I'm pretty sure I pulled the wrong USB out or something, and f***ed that as well. My dad died suddenly.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to get to it. Was, do you know what it was? It was the panic attacks that come out of nowhere. I used to have them every day.
Yeah,
I didn't even know what they were.
Oh, really?
I was having them every day when he died. The worst thing was, he went away to on a motorbike track day in Spain, and as a surprise I put a new kitchen in for him and you never see it. He died on the track.
We'd like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for the support so far on this project. It means the absolute world to us.
However, we've noticed that around 75% of you who listen and watch the show haven't yet hit the subscribe or like button.
So in order for this community to grow and allow us to build this project, we have a small request from you.
Please hit the subscribe or like button on the app that you're listening or watching this show. Your commitment... What were you laughing at? I did a really good job, didn't I? Right, do another one. Please hit the subscribe or like button on the app you're watching or listening this show. Listening this show.
Remember to smile.
I'm always smiling.
You weren't.
Was I not? Stop it. Kelly's fucking waiting for us outside, bro.
Compose. Right, let's do it.
Please hit the subscribe or like button on the app you're listening to or watching this fucking show. Right, come on, just one more. Please hit the subscribe or like button. Your commitment is our commitment.
Let's do this.
Fuck off. Come on, more.
Yeah, I'm not going to cheeseball it up, but I'll go, let's do this.
That'll do. Are we in, George? We're rolling. Sound.
Oh, headphones.
Don't wreck the place before we start, mate. We're doing cans.
I'm fucking sober these days, mate. I shouldn't wreck anything.
You know how to use these, right? Cans. Yeah. Max, welcome, mate. How you doing?
Yes, mate. Are we starting already? Jesus.
Yeah, we'll just go straight in, mate.
Let's go. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, really good. We actually we spoke on and off, but the last time we spoke was last Saturday, and we started getting into conversation. I was in the queue and passport control in Portugal. And I was like, right, stop this. Let's just stop this conversation right now and let's do it on the podcast. He was like, all right, when can I come in? I said, next week. It was sound. So much has gone on since we last saw each other.
Yeah,
I can't even remember the last time we saw each other. Probably like 4 or 5 years ago.
Do you reckon?
Probably. I mean, pre-lockdowns, obviously, so 4 years since 2020, right? So I haven't gigged since. I did 2 gigs and I never saw you at them. So it was got to be 2018 or 19. It's got to be 5 or 6 years.
Pre-COVID, yeah.
Has to be. Because why would I have seen you since I've stopped playing?
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. So loads has
That'd be
happened.
nice,
Yeah. No, but we have this conversation with loads of people.
Mate, we're all so busy, man.
I know.
Like,
even when we
ridiculous.
were touring together, I saw you maybe 3 times a year, 4 times a year when you cross paths
exactly, yeah.
on a gig. But yeah, I want to talk about what's going on. So since we last saw each other, let's say 19 or 20. So lockdown for you, I think things have changed. You started talking to me last week about having different revenue streams, and that's one thing I want to talk about to start with. So
Yeah.
prior to the lockdowns, my main revenue stream was DJing. That was just me personally. I know other people had different kind of careers. They maybe did a full-time job and then they had the DJing on the side and that sort of thing. What was your arrangement with music prior to lockdown? Did you have those other revenue streams or was it just music?
On and off. Yeah, do you know what? My memory's so bad, probably from the music industry.
Most likely.
But I'm sure I've always been a bit of a Dell boy. Do you know what I mean? So in COVID, just before we went into COVID, about 2018, I bought some land to build a house.
Okay.
And then it kind of worked in like sort of hand in hand. We stopped gigging because of COVID.
Yeah.
And then I started building my house. So I built my house in COVID.
I know this, actually.
Unfortunately, I didn't make any music, which didn't do me any favours at the end of COVID. We got back there, but yeah, I should have been making a bit more music, but I had priorities. And
Didn't you build a house and then you sold your house?
No, I'm still in it. I sold it 3 times. It fell through 3 times. And then, you know, everything changed so much. There wasn't the money in the profit I made was incredible for the time. I built my house at like the most perfect time that you could possibly do it in the last like 10, 15 years.
It's where like materials had gone in terms of cost
like,
of
it was
materials.
just so cheap to do.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, once that was all done and dusted, I opened up a building company. And
So when was that?
That was pretty soon after COVID.
Okay.
Not like fully focused on it, but now it's like running like a well-oiled machine, you know. And I'm also opening up a bathroom showroom on Mersey Island because I come from bathrooms and plumbing. It's going to be a little plumbers merchants as well. So yeah, fingers in a few pies, but obviously the main focus is always music.
So this is what you did, because let me go back a little bit.
I mean, I need to say that I obviously not going in and doing all this work and doing music.
No,
you know, I'm subbing most of it out and stuff, and
yeah,
you know, there's going to be someone running the shop. So
no, of course. But what I find quite admirable what you're doing is, your main focus is music, but you're also thinking about, you know, you've got a family now.
It's longevity, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have seen so many people stop doing music and just go to shit.
Yeah.
Completely go to shit.
But because you haven't got anything else.
No, and
to
I'm
fall
lucky.
back on.
I'm pretty skilled in a few different trades. And I can take my hand to most things. I mean, I even like getting on the if there's something that I enjoy doing, I don't mind jumping in. I love it. I love using my hands. I love using wood.
Oh, this is what you did prior to.
No, I done like I was a plumber. I fucking hate plumbing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ever do that. Fuck that. But if it was working with wood, there's something about working with wood. I love that.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. Why? When did you start doing that?
I touched it once and. No.
That's mid though.
I just like it's something. It's like
you enjoy it.
Like a natural thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
It's a natural thing to you. I'm gonna fucking clue.
No, I mean wood.
Wood is natural. Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're at one with it. No, I just enjoy it.
Class. No, but what I got from that conversation, the 10-minute conversation we had last week, was that you were making sure you were secure for you and your family with all these other things, whilst you still focused on the music. And I think that's really important for people to know, especially people coming through, because for me, I just focused on the gig money. The gig money was my revenue, and if I didn't have a busy month, I was fucked.
I mean, that is the unfortunate thing about the music industry. It's so hit and miss. You're 2 months ahead. I mean, don't get me wrong, there can be trades like that, but it's a lot easier to get, you know, work, for instance, bathrooms, than it is to get a gig when, especially now the industry is so saturated. When we first started DJing, I honestly reckon there's probably, in the UK, probably almost 50 times more DJs. Maybe.
You reckon how saturated it is now?
Oh, it's mental.
Really?
Oh, it's crazy. Well, there wasn't many people to choose from. I'm starting to wonder whether I was shit and I just needed a DJ. Now it's like you got to be decent to get booked, isn't
Yeah. Yeah, well, I do remember you being one of those artists. I remember when I was starting to come through and starting to like make music and looking at you and going, fuck, Max is playing there. But you're right. Actually, thinking about it, there was a small amount. You'd see the same artists on the same lineups.
Yeah, it would be just like, you know, I remember playing week in, week out, like me, Richie Ahmed, or, you know, Robert James, Bernski, Jamie Jones, although it would be like the similar. And I managed to slide into there pretty easily, to be honest. Like, there's a lot of people go through quite a lot of struggles. I mean, I had it pretty easy, to be quite honest. My first track got played by Pete Tong on Radio 1, first one. And
was it really a first?
Yeah, and it
track?
was signed to Electronique, who were doing parties at Sankey's. So my first decent.
That's Cy Heslin.
Yeah,
yeah, I remember Cy.
And then obviously, Spenny, who is Pirate Copy, he was at Sankey's, and he would hear me playing, and that was it. I played for Kaluki. I was a resident for them for a while, and then it's snowballed from there, really.
And I remember that.
It's tough now, man.
Yeah, well, this saturation, I didn't know the extent to what I knew. Obviously, there was more DJ. Everyone wants to be a DJ now, but even when I was DJing, when I was starting to come through in like 2016, even that, I heard that quite a lot. Everyone wants to be a DJ now. But clearly, I think now with social media, people seeing people be a DJ, everyone wants to be on the other side of the booth now.
Yeah.
You even see it, in literal terms in videos. The booth is full.
Yeah,
that never used to be the case.
I must admit, I quite like that.
Why?
Because I don't feel like I'm on my own. You know what I mean? Especially if I'm sober. I've been sober for 2 years. So, like, when you're standing in a booth on your own with thousands of people, hundreds of people, it's a bit like... They're all looking at me.
No, but I'm talking about not even just the booth, but you have the parties are created where, and actually it does look cool, but you have the dance floor is round the booth.
Yeah, I like all that 360 shit now.
Yeah, the 360 stuff, yeah. I think, but that's kind of, it's almost integrated. It's almost like the party is one, but it almost makes me think that's why everyone wants to be in the booth, because that's the cool place. You're like everyone's getting seen and shit.
Yeah, I mean there's always been that element to it, isn't there?
Yeah.
Which I never really understood until I went out and wasn't DJing, and then was like, oh, fuck this out.
You're always trying to find someone to get backstage, aren't you?
Yeah. Usually Nick Yates.
Yeah, where's Nick with the bands when you need him?
Nick Yates.
Yeah, so that was we're going back to when what was that track you put out in Hot Creations? Was it La Fiesta or something?
Fiesta, yeah.
What year was that? 16, 17?
Oh man,
I remember.
I reckon it's probably 8 years old.
It was 17. It was when we played that festival in Mexico City. Do you remember that?
Oh mate, do you know I flew there? I was supposed to have 2 gigs. I flew there. My set, they got the sets wrong.
I know.
And I played 45 minutes and got them back on the plane home.
What?
Yeah, I got to Mexico City. It took me hours to get there. It was a direct flight, to be fair. But I played for 45 minutes, slept for about 2, because I played at like 7, 8 in the morning. Slept for a couple of hours, and my flight was like 11 in the morning.
It's a 10-hour flight, isn't it, to Mexico?
Yeah.
So 10 hours for 45 minutes.
I was fuming at that gig. And then the geezer I knew someone called Fernando Dutthoy. He's a fucking legend. He's called, his DJ name's La Tourist. Great DJ, but he's like a Mexican guy that plays with like the bars around. He's a local DJ. He's really good. And he come with me as like a tour manager, and he racked up some mad bill. We didn't realise the drinks were getting charged. And
Is this the time I was there?
Yeah, we was having these tequilas.
No, mate, I was there with you. I've got pictures of you and me. We're at the bar.
With them yellow drinks.
Yeah, and we kept ordering more tequila.
The bill was massive. It was like 700 quid.
10:30 in the morning. We were ordering tequilas at 10:30. We were hammered. Also, the gig was an hour and 20 minutes drive. So when we were in Mexico City, it was warm. It was like 20 odd degrees.
Oh, that's right. And I didn't have. You
didn't have any warms.
Yeah.
So basically, when
we
you
got up in the mountains,
it was like 7 degrees, mate. It was like winter. So you get in this minivan and everyone's got the AC on, and you get out and you're like, fuck, everyone's got gloves on and hats. It was crazy.
And
we were up there all night.
I was supposed to play. I think I got to that festival. I'm sure we left when it was like getting dark or something.
Yeah.
And then they got the sets wrong, and they was like, oh, now you're playing at 7 or 8 in the morning. And you've got 45 minutes.
Also,
Josh Butler was before me.
Was Josh there? Yeah, Josh was there.
But I went on after Josh Butler, and I'm pretty sure I pulled the wrong USB out or something, and fucked that as well. And Josh was like, fuck, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, I did that in the wrong place. I don't think the person, I don't mind fucking telling them, I don't give a fuck. It was a Park Life, and I was playing for Elro.
Yeah.
And Dommy Della Swing was on after me, right? And
that round one.
Yeah, the big, like almost like circus,
white
looking one. And what they do is everyone has their own tech set up. It's like a proper festival, so they roll it off and they roll the next person's on wheels. So they rolled it off, and I was behind this exactly like this, a red curtain, and behind there was the stage. And I was like sweating. Everyone was going, "Oh, that was sick. That was sick." I was like, "Oh, nice one." Took the headphones off, and I was like, "Yeah, has anyone got a beer?" And I just chuck it out just casually. It was still on.
Yeah.
There's thousands of people there. And then Dommy just runs round the corner and he's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And I was just like,
mate, if the decks are gone, it ain't your problem.
See you later. Has anyone got a beer? Yeah, that's a fuck of that. I don't, and because there was a curtain there, I didn't care. It wasn't like I was in the front going, oh, and that's happened loads of times where you just hammered and you're just like, oh, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I think I've made more mistakes sober than I have pissed.
Really?
Yeah. Because you just like a bit more relaxed when you piss. You're like, oh yeah, I do that, I do this. Don't get me wrong, we've been in some states and done some stuff, but I find like the anxiety or the tension makes you make the mistakes sometimes.
I remember talking to you about that actually. Can't remember when it was. Again, probably well before 2020. But you kind of gone through periods of like having anxiety before shows and all that stuff.
Yeah, like my dad died suddenly.
Yeah,
and it took me a long time to get to it. Was, do you know what it was? It was the panic attacks that come out of nowhere that took me so long to deal with.
The hotel room?
Almost, yeah, mate.
You text me.
I used to have them every day.
Yeah,
I didn't even know what they were.
Oh, really?
I was having them every day when he died. The worst thing was I put a new kitchen for. He went away to on a motorbike track day in Spain, and as a surprise, I put a new kitchen in for him, and he never see it. He died on the track.
Oh, really? It wasn't like natural.
No, he died on the track, 190 something mile an hour. He come off. He actually had a heart attack, and jumped up, and like where he must have really strained him. He sort of jumped up, put his hand on his chest, and the wind just took him clean off the back of his bike, and he died from the injuries.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
But it's all right. I'm glad he died like that, man. He used to. Do you know what he said to me once? I remember being young, and he was fearless. I remember saying, are you scared of anything? And he went, yeah, pissing my own pants. I didn't know what he meant until he died, and then I realised he didn't want to get old. And he died fucking flying on a motorbike, which he loved doing. So I'm completely at ease with it. Like, yeah.
Well, my condolences there, mate. But I didn't know that the anxiety.
But yeah, that's where all my anxiety stems from.
Because to bring that back, I only remember this vividly because you're one of the people who. You text me and you go, I'm in the hotel room, I've got a gig in 2 hours, and I don't want to go out the hotel room. And I'll be talking to you about it.
Yeah. But do you know what it is? Once you get out there, and once you get into the booth, probably tequila probably helped.
Yeah.
But once you get in there, it's sound, isn't it? You play a few tunes. It's mad because I'd have far more anxiety if someone says you've got to go and do a week's fucking plumbing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah. It's a funny thing, but it builds you as a person, and it just it toughens you up for problems later in life that you can solve a bit easier. I think that's the way I like to think about it.
Yeah, definitely. I seen your post on your Instagram page, Max. So I was going to ask you about it because I know it's obviously something that you shared publicly, and I seen the picture you put, and I was going to ask you like, did your dad like super bikes? Like,
oh mate, he was nuts about it.
Yeah, and I didn't know the circumstances, and when you said it, it's one of them things. I agree with what you're saying. As human beings, and when we're here, and particularly, I know you put he was your hero. Same for my dad. He passed away in 2020. These people are our heroes. Do you know what I mean? And it's never going to be a good circumstance.
The thing that makes them heroes, you think they're absolutely invincible.
Yeah.
And then when they're not,
and they're gone.
What the fuck?
But
now I've got to try and be him.
Yeah,
and it feels impossible to be someone that great. You know what I mean? But I smashed it.
Smashing it because, by the way, congratulations, he's got a 4-month-old.
Yeah.
I'm good at something.
Woodworking babies.
How's fatherhood then? Let's talk about that.
It's so good.
What did you say exactly what you said out to me out there before we came in?
It just makes everything else in life insignificant. Like, it's just wonderful, man.
Say more about that. What do you mean?
It's just like... I was completely, like, for instance, with anxiety, I used to stress about trying to be at my, not only being at my A game, but like, trying to keep up with everyone else. I had certain people that were sort of on my level, and you always want to stay with them as they rise, and you don't want to go down. And that's a constant thing in the music industry, no matter where you are.
Completely agree.
No matter what tier you're on, you're always thinking like that, which is always a stress, which makes it less enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I've never thought about that ever again since I've had my baby.
Really?
I don't care about anything. Music is my hobby now. And if people don't like the way I do it, then it's tough fucking shit. I'm going to make music how I like it. I'm going to release it where and when I want to. And if I get the gigs from it, great. If I don't, whatever. You know what I mean?
That's actually really powerful because I completely know what you mean. At one point towards like 1920, I was making tracks to go on a label because I wanted to be on this billing with that person.
Yeah. It's tough because there's certain brands you have to be in with. There's certain people you have to be talking to. There's certain, phases that the music industry goes through and certain hypes that you have to try and live up to. But I'm just so over that now. I want to be me in my music and
Your authentic self.
Yeah. And to be fair, if it means I have to do half the gigs, then I'll just ask for a little bit more money because I'm, a bit more authentic, gigging a bit less, and that works for me.
Man.
Yeah, and to be honest, like I said, I'm very lucky because I've got other income, so I can treat it like that.
Well, that's what I mean. If you didn't have that, the mentality might be a little. You might not give a fuck in general. Like all that matters is your family, your baby.
And don't get me wrong, I'd love to play for every single one of these big parties, but I'm gonna have to change who I am to do that. I feel that's what I feel like. Do
you think you've been doing that in the past?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, especially when when you're intoxicating yourself and you're playing up to whoever you're around, and I mean maybe not majorly, but you tweak yourself. I think
absolutely
to camouflage into that group.
Did you have a similar experience? Yeah,
completely the same. I feel like I was trying to create a persona or a brand.
Yeah,
I'm completely myself now. Like on my social media, I'm not doing this silly daft fucking. I don't know. I was just trying to be a character in a way, and especially when I was out in
which
the booth.
Which is a good thing.
It is.
It is a good thing. Like for instance, someone like Fisher comes across as a great character, but he's being himself.
Yeah,
and that's the amazing thing about.
What did we say?
That.
Authenticity always comes back to that. I don't think I was being authentic. I was being daft and having fun, but I was still trying to create a persona that people would laugh at and like the post. I wanted to like the post and share it. That's what I wanted.
I don't know, you sell yourself down sometimes, Jackie. You did it before when we was talking to Rob, and I was going to say to you then, like, I've seen you from the outside.
I mean, you are funny as well.
And then I know you
come across funny. You come across as you are, to be honest. You're quite.
But it was a bit over the top.
But I think you just get that feeling as well. You feel like that.
Yeah, like what Max said. Fisher has got that character, but he ain't going to be like that all the time.
No, he's like that quite a lot of the time. But yeah, I mean, he's obviously
downtime,
of course he will, and he's going to have his lows as well, like every other human being. But he's just a happy-go-lucky guy. That he's a proper entertainer, a born entertainer. Yeah. That's why he's worth every penny.
Yeah, he's got this infectious energy.
Yeah,
same when you're I've been
that Paul's pondering for me. I was watching that for time when I first got onto it and I was watching it. I was buzzing off it.
He's funny, man. He's really funny. But one of the things that I really don't get on with is social media.
Yeah. I don't never have. You've never really
like going on there, and it's what I'm saying. It's like you're trying to force yourself to do something. I don't particularly like going on and seeing my face, or I feel like I don't feel confident about the way I look on there sometimes.
I get that.
I mean, I feel
a bit better now because I've lost like 3 stone since I was, so, in the last couple of years. But I still don't really want to be. I feel like I'm an influencer that ain't getting any fucking money for it. You know what I mean? And it's like, why am I doing this? Fucking 200 likes later. You know what I mean?
There's loads of artists who like that.
If I make music and I get like a good track out, then the Instagram goes mad, and I get a couple of thousand likes on it, and that's what I want it to be. I don't know, nobody wants to hear what I fucking. Hello, mate. How you doing? This morning I had a donut for breakfast. How are you today? Put it in the comments what you've had for breakfast. You know what I mean?
No, completely. But at the same time, I was speaking to Jordan Peake today, and he sent me this fucking 4-minute voice note, which I almost deleted and said "fuck off, callers." But in this voice note, he talks about everyone is an entertainer. You essentially are a content creator, whether you like it or not. The part of the job now, and it never was really when we, back in 2016, 17, you had to do posts, but it was like you'd post your new release, or you'd post like one picture.
Mate, I didn't even back then. It wasn't. You didn't have to do it.
No,
much, did you?
No, you don't really. But people did do it. But now it's part. It is part of the job.
You have to do it.
You have to do it. And if you don't, you could be the best producer, releasing on the best labels, but if you're not good at content, 100%. You are not going to sell tickets, they're not going to get booked because you might have 20,000 followers instead of 200,000 followers.
Yeah.
Even though that 200,000 follower artist might have 2 releases, they're all dog shit. They never got any support, but they can get people through the door.
Yeah.
That's the difficult thing now. That was never such a. I mean, it's obviously got more intense over time, but the followers thing, fucking. I mean, from an outside point of view, I just don't think it's fair. I just don't think it's fair.
But it's like what Max was saying before, because I remember Sante is one of the DJs who used to be always on the line.
Yeah, like it used to be Sydney, Darius, Santi all the time.
I know exactly what he's on about because them lineups, you would see him all the time. And now, as soon as Max was saying it, people see it on Instagram and then they're like, I want to be a DJ. And you get them controllers now that Pioneer have got that are all in one, and you just hit a sync button and away you go or whatever. So I get, why people want to be a DJ, because we've talked about it on here a lot, is people see the cannons going off at Ushuaia and the DJs doing all that and they think,
but
you get paid great.
They do buy into the person and they just go to wherever that person is. I think they do buy into the person.
Yeah.
Because they could be anything. They could be
100%.
They could be like a fitness instructor, an unfitness instructor, or they still have their fans, and if they do like a little, live session in Hyde Park, then you get thousands of people turn up for that. It doesn't really. They sort of get besotted by these characters.
It's the authenticity that I think shines through massively.
It is a strange world. Yeah. I think I'd actually like it if China just shuts the internet down, and then all you can do is just go and buy the records. You have to
in
go
the shop.
Yeah.
Oh, online.
Mate, I bought my first cassette. I bought Britney Spears' "Hit Me Baby One More Time" on cassette from Woolworths.
Oh wow! When Woolworths did the big pick and mix,
that was about £3.
What was your first track that you bought?
Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style album.
See, I'm so gay.
On CD. Like when Max said it, then I was like, really?
Well, no, listen.
On cassette.
Mine is soup. We're talking about vinyl or cassette.
Oh, sorry, mine was CD. Do you want my vinyl?
Cassette.
He is his cassette, but I got
my
vinyl.
first vinyl was Cameron Oh Boy.
Mine was.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh boy.
Keep going, please. Soundbite. No.
Mine was Bart Simpson. Do the Bart thing.
Really?
That's on vinyl.
Do the Bart thing. What is
do
that?
The Bart thing.
Sing
Bart
it.
Simpson.
Sing it. Soundbite.
He goes, hey, what? Do the Bart thing. And that's it.
Oh, well,
yeah.
It must have been.
And
a
it was a
long-
picture of him
long
on the
record.
vinyl, and he'd spin around, and I'd stand there like that as a kid watching it. Bart Simpson.
Well,
Do
I
the
never
Bart
even
thing.
heard of that.
Yeah, you have now.
Thrill Seekers was mine.
What?
No, not Thrill Seekers. No, I got that wrong. Super Freak. Super Freak. Super Freak. So Super Freaky.
Yeah, he's definitely the coolest one there, isn't he?
Yeah, mine was poor. But to be fair, I just bought 2. I worked at a fish and chip shop when I was 13, and I worked there for a couple of summers to save up for some decks. I was on like £2.30 an hour or something. And I bought these Newmark belt drives, like really shit decks. And I just literally went into there used to be a record shop in Clacton where I grew up. And I literally went in and just bought 2 records, and they didn't even fucking match. The BPMs were so out that I was mixing one like really slow. It was like singing really slow. And I don't think I ever bought another record for about 4 years. Just kept practicing
Mixing
with
them
them
two.
Yeah,
But if you
I just wanted to get how it worked.
Mate, that was. People asked me how best to learn to mix. I always just say, buy 2 tracks, don't buy any more, and just mix them religiously.
Yeah.
That's what I did. But I had the same track. So I was mixing the same. Yours has been way harder, so that's probably your mixing's probably better than mine. But I just had Prider, Ra Funk,
Yeah.
dum, 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 twice. I was just mixing that back to back for like 6 months. 13 though, when
13.
you got your decks.
Yeah, well, I was 13 when I bought them. I probably started getting bored of those tunes by about 14. And then I could mix by that time. But when the next decks I got, I must have bought some other records, but I can't remember. But the next ones I got were the first ever CDJs, I think, that you could put CDs in. CDJ Mark 1s, I guess.
Yeah, the thousands.
And you used to burn your CD right on it, what it was. And I can't remember ever having an issue with mixing at all. I've always understood the structure of music, which a lot of people don't. I don't know if you've ever tried to teach someone how to mix. It's
brutal,
stressful if they don't understand music, if they don't understand the structure in bars or whatever. It's really stressful. But I managed to I didn't have to have anyone teach me that. I just understood it, which is, I think 3/4 of the problem.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Do you remember what Baz said, chapter and verse? He doesn't even use these anymore.
No.
He turns up to the show, doesn't use headphones. He knows when it's good. He uses the digital, right? The +8, +16, 30, 32. He goes to gigs, huge gigs, and just puts his USBs in. He says, don't need headphones. Doesn't use headphones.
Really?
It's fucking crazy.
I've done that at some after parties and thought it was the bollocks before.
yeah, but
like
not
when you haven't even got digital, you just like pull it in and just try and keep it in and just look and see if anyone's
yeah, but not at a Schweier. You don't turn into a big show and you're like
fucking mental.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. That's mental.
I've seen Sasha do it a few times with like 2-3 tracks that he really
no
knows.
sync?
No sync.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you've got the BPM now. And
Yeah, exactly.
It's basically sync.
Well, that's how I used to teach people the +8.
And you have those bars that you can join up.
Yeah, but that's new. That's only the last 4 or 5 years, isn't it?
Well, the CDJ 1000s, they were out in 2002 or 3 or 1, even earlier, and it was that digital screen looked like Space Invaders.
Yeah. Just block.
Mate, it was
the block.
shit. My I bought, mate, I spent so much money on them. Well, nothing like they are now, but I think that setup cost me about 2,800 quid. I think there was £1,000 each and the mixer was 800
Grand
quid.
each and the mixer.
They'd almost priced it at what the fucking mixers were called and the decks were called.
CDJ 1000.
And I got this gig down the boardwalk on Clacton Pier. And I was doing it every week. I was doing it there anyway, but they had shit decks and I thought, right, I'll take mine down there. My brother fucking out of his nut poured a pint over it on the first night and fucked the deck.
Oh,
no.
Like, buy another one. £1,000 down up the fucking shit.
How is Sam?
Yeah, he's all right.
Is he all right?
Yeah, he's happy. He's got a lovely new bird who's one of my missus' best mates. And he's just flying back from Spain now. They've just gone on a little holiday.
Big up, Sam. Haven't seen you in a long time.
He's well happy, man.
Is he?
He's a different boy at the minute. Yeah, he's really happy.
Wicked.
Yeah.
I had this vivid memory of us being in Vauxhall. We went,
mate. Do you know what someone said this the other day? He was like, "You were just always in Vauxhall, like
because we always used to play Fire and Lightbox.
Yeah, but there was more, wasn't there? There was another one there. What was it?
There was
called?
Lightbox, Fire, and that was all I played. I played Lightbox. I played after.
There was another one, like just up from there. Hidden.
Never played there.
Hidden in Vauxhall, and I was fucking off me peanut. And there was a box, and I like stepped up to start DJing and just missed the box. Went straight back, like bang.
I have this
and
memory
then
of us
climbed back up
being
covered in black shit.
With Sam. We were in. I think it was a Weatherspoons at the time. But you just come out of Vauxhall and then you go around the corner and it's under the bridge, just opposite Fire. And we were causing havoc in there. And we just had a few drinks and we don't see each other that
just
often.
Loud.
So we're just being loud and like, can you please leave? We're like, we haven't seen each other in so long. Can you please stay?
I remember that.
Yeah, it was fun. But that was the last time. That was probably the last times I saw Sam.
Mate, I've got a funny story about Vauxhall. Right?
Go on.
So my mate Charlie Lawrence, he just got so he was just
pull that up so we can hear the story.
he was smashed, and we lost him. We'd been in there like an hour, and we lost him. Anyway, got to the end of the night. We were walking out. I see him in the medical room, and I said, "Oh, that's my mate." And she said, "Oh, I found him trying to pick his own shadow up." I was like, that can't be true. She was like, honestly, he was leaning down trying to pick his own shadow up.
Whereabouts was it in Vauxhall?
Yeah, so it was in Lightbox. You remember when you come out of Lightbox? You had like a little medical caravan.
Yeah.
Trying to pick his own shadow up. Yeah. That is mental. Isn't it?
come here, mate. I'll let you. Imagine that one. He won't get up.
Oh, mate, that was hilarious.
Wow. Yeah, Vauxhall for me was one of them places which was always the maddest because they had those after parties that went on.
Yeah, it was BB's. Dawn.
Yeah, Dawn and Marwan.
BB started.
BB's in
Marwan, yeah.
And I'd always go and play there. And I lived in Battersea, so it was like a stone's throw for me.
Yeah, I actually played the first ever Solid Grooves.
Did you?
Yeah, it was at, what's that park? Brixton Jam.
Oh, yeah.
It was me and Francesca.
Oh, I like Brixton
Lombardo.
Jam. Sick.
And then he booked me a few times for Dawn. But Dawn was a good one because back then, even if he was playing in London, there wasn't all the radius stuff. Like if you was playing in London, you can't play in London for another 6 weeks and you can't play within 50 miles. It was just like,
you could do as many Dawns as you want.
after.
Yeah.
Nick a little bit of money and do that.
Yeah, that was the thing about gigging in London. I always used to, because I lived in London, I wanted to play more because I didn't have to travel, but like my agent was like, no, you need to space it out. I understand, but that was so fucking annoying. Is that still, I assume that's still the case, it's still the etiquette, right? You can't just play in the same city fucking 10 times a year.
I mean, now I think it's just once a year, unless like London you can get away with 2, but like Liverpool's like 1, Manchester's 1. Birmingham's the same. It's kind of down to that now, but then you're up against 10,000 DJs in the UK. You know what I mean? They're not all absolutely having it, but they're still filling up some of the slots. They're still selling tickets. You know, there's a lot of kids. Have you seen that geezer on TikTok that's just done a Pawsa? How to sound like Pawsa?
No.
So he had no followers, or he had a few hundred followers or whatever. American guy, and he's gone, this is how I would make a Pawsa track, and he's done it based on that too cool to be the new one. So he's basically gone on TikTok or Instagram, whatever he done it on, made this track to sound like him. His track's blown up. Sarah Story's played it on Radio 1, and now he's just like having it off, doing like he's doing coaching all the time. He's like, and this is just from copying someone, like live and being honest about it. Do you know what I mean?
Did he make the exact same track or just a sounding
he made
track?
It sounding like him, but it basically sounds like Pawsa. You know what I mean? But that's how easy it is to break through using social media. You can actually copy someone and then start a career from it. Whereas, you know, some of us are absolutely grinding, making the best music we've ever made, and you know, it just gets missed. But yeah, that is the power of social media.
Yeah, there's a plus and a minus to that, though. We were talking about that with Seb. Yeah, Seb Zito was on, and we were talking about the rise from someone who can go viral on TikTok and go from 20 likes to 20 followers to getting millions of players on a video. The track gets signed to a label. Where do you go from there? Yeah, because you're at the top of the mountain.
Yeah, But a lot of these kids can do it. Do you know the difference as well is sample packs? Because when I first started making music, there was hardly any sample packs that were any good, or there was hardly. A lot of people back then had their own sound. You didn't sound like anyone like people do today. You just sounded like you, and that was why I think it worked a bit better back then. But
because everyone's not using the same loops and stuff.
No one was using. I used to sample old records, like house records that were only like 7-8 years old. Just take some of the drums, mess them around. But now sample packs are you can literally drag 10 loops in, arrange it, and you've got a record. That's why it's so easy, I think.
And do you think that's why it's so saturated then? Because
it's very easy to make music. Yeah, it's really easy to make music. I started on Reason. You had to like press tab and spin it around. You had to wire it. Did you ever see it?
No.
So like the back of the synths had cables, and if you wanted to reroute something like sidechain, you had to wire it.
I did this in school. I did do this in school, but yeah.
And I started on that, went to Ableton, and I was like, fucking hell, this is fucking easy. I'm Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
You haven't fiddled around with making music, have you?
No, but I've sat with my mates on Logic and Ableton and watched them make music and produce, but obviously I can play on CDJs, and I was around when the CDJ 1000s were out. My mate was a DJ at Sankey's, and that's how I knew they were about 2,800 quid.
Who was that?
Lee Pritchard. He played at Sankey's and Spectrum. He got the mixer, the DJM 600, sorry, DJM 600.
That big chunky grey thing.
Yeah. With, the ones that like work for about a week and then they're fucked.
Yeah.
The effects and that. But now it's like the technology progresses, doesn't it? So you look at the CDJ 3000s. First of all, they're as big as this table.
Yeah, they're insane.
But you do a loop on CDJ, you just tap the screen. Boom,
Mate, it's so precise now as well. When we went back then as well, we had to get, if you looped a track, you had to press the button and get it bang on. And if it wasn't bang on, you had to keep the other track in it.
Yeah.
Now it's like, bang.
And you don't know if it's in until the full bar. The full bar.
Yeah, you have to let the whole thing
play.
play.
The full bars, you're like, okay,
now even
you tap
it and get it out. It just gets it all in, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was. It's so easy now. But the thing is, the crowd has no idea. No. So they just think you're some genius, like 20-year-old that's like come out of his mum's nun with a fucking SH101. You know what I mean?
You've got such a contrast from people who play vinyl. You've got like Jeff Mills or whatever playing 4 vinyl. Then you've got someone who is literally putting, I'm not going to mention names, but just playing a set That happens. You've seen it. You've seen videos.
But I took pride in just playing sets. I didn't go.
Yeah.
I never went too mad, but I used to try and make it really smooth, and just I really enjoyed playing music anyone had never heard before.
Yeah.
And now it's the complete opposite. You got to put a fucking Destiny Child's vocal over whatever the fuck you're playing. It's just like, do you know what I mean? It's like any vocal that hasn't, like Adele. Who the fuck makes an Adele tune? But they're everywhere.
Is that a thing?
Oh, mate, there's loads of Adele edits.
Oh,
but
wow.
like,
Interesting.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, sorry guys if you've made an Adele edit.
No, it's...
But like, I just don't get it. Like, there's people sitting on their sofas crying and smoking cigarettes to Adele, and then someone's playing it at a club. Like, it's just
I suppose
weird.
there's a creative aspect for it, but also I did get the impression when I was kind of coming to the end of my career, which I didn't know it was at the time, but if I didn't play a track that had a vocal in every 3 or 4 tracks, the people knew.
Yeah, but that's good. 3 or 4 tracks is fine. That's what I used to do. I
Is
used
it
to play some real nice underground
And then
rollers
get their attention
with a little
back.
hook, and then exactly.
Yeah.
Like, but not even so much get their attention back then, because when we first started, you might as well have recorded a video on a Reebok Classic. It was fucking shite. Do you know what I mean? Now phones are so good, content's so good, but back then they were there for the music.
Yeah.
That was so different back then. I mean, we got the end of the era that was like, you don't remember those old Magda days at DC10?
Oh, wow,
2010?
yeah.
I had some sit downs and some good moments like that when no one had their phones out, man. But it's very different now.
Yeah. They're seeing the no phone policy that Bibby's trying to push in a lot of his shows. I think that's great. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I do think it's great, but obviously from his point of view, it's okay because he's going to capture the crowd no matter what's happening. He's going to have a sold out show.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really need to have the content anymore because people make the content for him.
Yeah.
Like someone only has to, take a video from the crowd and Mr. Afterparty got it or whoever. He's that big now.
But I don't think that's why he's doing it. I think the reason he's doing it is because he sees how it's destroying the dance floor.
Exactly, but everyone else needs them phones, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So he can get away with doing that, and he's lucky enough to have the power to be able to just enjoy the moment, and make everyone else enjoy the moment because they don't realise what they're missing when they're looking through the phone.
Yeah.
How often? Sorry, go on.
Lazarus, he was one of the first people in Ibiza
Just to do
announce no mobile phones because he's the Black Coffee back room, innit? Damien Lazarus. And they actually put it in permanently, no phone policy. So all this season, I believe I'm right in saying this, since the start of the season, Damien Lazarus at the back room announced a no mobile phone policy.
So how does that work?
In there.
You're not allowed to get your phone out.
No filming. No filming. It's not like you put it in yonder bags or anything.
Yeah.
Because I think there's talk of this though. Who did I speak to last week? I can't remember. It'll come to me in a minute. But they're talking about lockers for phones.
Right. Yeah, but fucking hell, imagine trying to get your locker back when you're absolutely
Battered.
your
Yeah,
your
exactly.
noodle.
Yeah.
Well, what they do in Berlin, when I was in Berlin, me and Mish went out clubbing to the underground clubs over there, which are cool, is they just stick stickers on your phone. Going in, they'd have to
Panorama bar.
Yeah, they have
Panorama
to
bar.
ask for your phone.
That's been in for a long time.
Yeah,
First
stickers
time I
on the
went
back.
there must be 10 years ago, and they've done it. That was the only time.
Panorama bar. Razzmatazz in Barcelona do
Someone asked me to piss in their mouth on my within an hour of being at Panorama bar.
What did you say?
Yes, please.
Yes, yeah. No, I actually thought, why? Like when people thought it was cool to just say it was cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, so I've just been in here. Everyone's dressed like a fucking twat, and they're trying to piss in my mouth. It's not cool in it, and the music was shit as well. And then you get home and everyone will be like,
I fucking loved it in there. both
Berghain
times.
is so amazing. I found myself.
Yeah. Pissing him a mare.
He was a cunt as well.
Yeah, it's a bit mad in there. Like the whole process of getting in and everything is just very intense.
Well, you know who I seen recently, and I was actually surprised because I thought it was a blag. I don't know if you've seen it on Bob Sinclair did a gig.
Oh, he put a post
And
in
he
the video.
actually did a video saying,
was
I'm
fuming.
really, really disappointed. And I, at first, because he sometimes has
about the club.
Yeah, he has a character on there where he jokes about, but he was actually being serious. He said, I had to come home, I'm feeling really, really anxious and all the rest of it. I'm feeling really depressed.
It's a very strange place.
Oh, but listen.
And he said, like, literally, everybody just had phones.
So, no, it was before that. He said, when I was playing for an hour and 20 minutes or whatever it was, No one was even dancing, looking around, talking. They were just waiting for World Hold On. So they were just waiting for that one tune, and then there was 1,000 phones.
And he plays at Berghain, Panorama.
No, he
Bob
wasn't
Sinclair.
there.
No, it wasn't Bob.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about there. I was like, what?
Imagine that. Wouldn't be very cool for Bob Sinclair to play World Hold On at fucking
I was thinking,
Berghain.
what is he doing in there?
Yeah, he's a bit lost in there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Everyone in Berghain waiting. This is the one.
I was thinking, that's not the club I went to. Everyone was suing on each other when I was there.
Yeah, no, definitely not in Panorama Bar.
I'm loving it.
But yeah, so he was fuming. He was just like, I'm just fucking sick of it. Every time I go to a gig now, they're just waiting for me to play one tune. They get it, and then they go.
And now Fisher nicked it.
But yeah, that's interesting.
It's because the reason I mention that is DJs that I've seen have got a different perspective on it, because David Guetta has got his residency at High on another night, and he came on the mic. This was in between Lazarus doing No Mobile Phones and Bob Sinclair saying what, because I was shocked because Bob Sinclair and Guetta seem sometimes to be on a similar page.
Yeah.
But anyway, Guetta grabbed the mic and he went on social media. He went, some people say they don't want mobile phones, and he went, but fuck no mobile phones. We want mobile phones. Guetta said it on the mic, and everybody in High, you just see this sea of white light.
That's good content for him.
Exactly. So that's the question. Yeah. Does he really like the mobile phones, or does he like the content to go out there?
Looks pretty fucking cool. If I was
it does look cool. No, honestly.
All the
it must be a great feeling to, have impressed that many people that every single one of them's got their phone out. But
do you know when you're playing?
It's not for me.
When you're building a track, I'll be honest, right? My last gig at Ministry of Sound, my last gig ever was at Ministry of Sound, and I dropped Isla, and I'd build it up for ages, and there was like 1 like came on, and then 5 came on, and then there was 30, and then I was just building it. I was like, I'm not stopping now. Fucking looped it for like a minute, and there was like 1,000 phones. I'm not gonna lie, as an artist, I was
playing at Warehouse Projects, and I played a Frankie Rizzardo Opus edit, and ding, ding, ding,
yeah.
ding, ding.
It's mad to see, isn't it?
And it just filled it up.
I wouldn't want it the whole gig. I wouldn't want it every single drop. But that one moment was pretty.
No, but it looks from your perspective, because me and Mish said it when we seen a video, and it was that, I think it was that clip. Oh, it was a black coffee at High. But anyway, you see the sea of white lights. Obviously, naturally, when you see black and loads of white lights, we're related to like stars and
it does look mustard.
It does look pretty cool. But when you're at Music On at Pawsa, for example, and I've seen it this year,
the whole thing,
the tunes are being dropped. Not hardly anyone's dancing. Everyone's just got the phone ready to kind of video it. They're missing the moment.
It's still, where if people were dancing and getting a bit of content, whatever, but everyone is stood. They just stood still. Like everyone's just stood like this.
I mean, I don't think
it's pretty mad.
I think it's, pretty much all parties. It's it's not just Music On. It is spread around, but there are moments where there's still videos that are going out every week, and there's moments where everyone's getting into it, but they're just not long enough. They don't last for very long, and then it's back out. And what they're probably doing is they've thought, oh, that was amazing, I want to get the next one.
Have you seen the videos that people have been doing on Instagram where they've got a clip of DC 10 Terrace 2001?
Oh, yeah.
And it's going off.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, Magda.
It fast forwards.
There's Magda moments where it's just, everyone's just like,
mate, that video gives me goosebumps.
There was one the other day, Cocoon After Party on the beach in Ibiza.
Is that where Sven's hanging from the bar? That thing? Yeah, it's crazy.
Mate, I remember watching, like, for instance, for the first time I watched Dice and Corolla at Amnesia, and the first time I watched them, I was just transfixed, and every time a new tune come in, I was just like, fucking it. But I didn't look at my phone. I mean, I don't look at my phone now.
Yeah,
I still don't look at my phone.
Yeah, there's loads of people who
that's the age thing, though.
I just used to love it, man.
It comes back to what you were saying before about people going for the music. You were there for the music. You were there to hear the transitions, the music.
Yeah, and that's why I still do it.
Yeah.
But it seems to me now, quite a lot of it is, I'm here because I want to post it.
Yeah.
And I'm here because I want to look like I'm cool.
I'm having a good time.
I mean? Yeah.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because when we spoke to Goddard, I remember when he was talking about the social media stuff that Max is on about there, and I think Rob touched over it before, but it's that fine balance in it, because unfortunately, everybody has a phone. The platforms are out there, so you do, as an artist, I imagine you're going to have it, but it's that balance of when does it take over what you and love what you're doing. And Goddard said, didn't he, that he had to rethink and said to the team, listen, let's strip it back a bit, because I feel like we're talking more now about the social media rather than the actual music of me making it and why I'm doing it, sort of thing. So it's a fine balance. But if you've got a bit of anxiety with social media, because I've never really liked social media platforms anyway, and I've been on there, but I have that low level anxiety you're talking about just with it, like putting stuff. Do I really want to talk about me eating a fucking donut?
I mean,
if you did it, your fans would probably love it.
Everything's exaggerated as well.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, whatever's happening is 20% of what's happening. Do you know what I mean?
At best.
Yeah.
At best.
So, but stupidly, you still think, oh, why am I not doing that? Why have I not got that? But I'm, you know, now I'm so lucky. I live in a beautiful house. I've got a brand new little 50% of me at home. I've got an unreal missus that's just, you know, beautiful, the best mum. I'm just so lucky, man, and that's all that matters to me now.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you said before, Max, sorry, when you mentioned going to Mexico, I was going to ask you about it because you put a post on where you missed your gigs in Colombia and Peru. You was in hospital for a test or something like that. You missed them gigs. Was that? It weren't that time, was it?
I'm actually so. Yeah, I had Crohn's disease, but I didn't know what it was.
No way.
And it got really, really bad just before. What I was doing was I was gigging, like I was going backwards and forwards to South America, backwards forwards to America, and every time I got on a flight, my guts would, where they were already irritated, they would inflame and, like, you know, bleed and whatnot. And I was convinced I had bowel cancer. I was in a fucking dark place, man. I was like, fuck, what is wrong with me? Yeah. I basically found it out, went back and forwards to the doctors and found out what I had. And I've been absolutely fine until about a month ago. I flared up again. Yeah. But it is what it is. You just learn to live with it. And it's all diet, really. I'm on the Eddie Abu diet at the minute, steak, meat and eggs, and it's fine.
Oh, class. It's a great diet.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm in that club now as well.
Yeah, I know.
It's really good, man. It's like, I've noticed huge differences, like... At the moment, I don't feel it as much because I'm not drawing in the nutrients and stuff that I should because my guts aren't right. But when they're working and when you're feeling alive in the morning and you just feel, you're just not sluggish. I'm not anxious. I just feel full of energy. I think sugar and there's certain things, but I think sugar is the one that really does me in.
It's the worst one for everyone.
Yeah, but I didn't realise it could make such a noticeable difference to your whole body, not just how you're feeling. Yeah. Like brain fog, everything. Like my recall on steak and eggs or meat and eggs is so good. Yeah. And as soon as my diet goes to shit or I go travelling and, you know, use airport and hotel foods, I'm just foggy as fuck. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what planet I'm on. It's like... So
prior to that, you didn't have no idea?
No, but my two sisters have got it, and my sister, one worse than the other, and her two daughters, my nieces, have got it pretty bad. So I've been lucky, really, to I mean, I look at it as I've not had to deal with it for my whole life like they have. So... And to be honest, it keeps me on the straight and narrow. Like, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I'm training every day, and I'm eating pretty well. Don't get me wrong. I have a cheat down on a Sunday, which I probably shouldn't do, but I want one. Do you know what I mean?
Life's too short.
Yeah,
I love treat days.
Yeah,
I love them.
But it's a cheat 36 hours really, because I'll stay awake and just eat. Cheat day, isn't it? It's 7 o'clock in the morning, Max. It's fun.
Well, Max, yeah, thanks for coming down, mate. I really appreciate it. It's pleasure, been great to see you. On a personal note, you were, not to get too salty, but you were a massive inspiration for me when I was starting to come up.
Mate. We inspired each other throughout our career.
Yeah, and making music with you was special as well.
That was a good track, man.
Yeah, we did some good stuff. Yeah,
got it.
That's good. That's the most Radio 1 plays. I think we had like a consecutive like 12, 13 weeks with that.
Yeah, it was mad. It was mental. And also the funny thing about that is we just made music that we wanted to make. We didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't even house. It
was like two-steppy bicep vibes.
Yeah.
But we made it because we were enjoying it. We didn't know where the track was going to go, and we were just like, let's just fucking do what feels natural.
Remember, we got stuck on that synth and didn't know how to detune the oscillator.
Yeah, it took ages. Absolutely fucking ages.
It was like out of key. We was like, fucking.
Yeah, and I was going, oh, it's in, and then he's going, it's fucking not. And this went on for hours and hours.
And then we just saw a semitone dial, and we was like, oh.
That won't mean anything to anyone who doesn't make music. But anyway, mate, thanks for the inspiration you were for me when I was coming through.
My pleasure.
And
Thank you for all the good times as well.
Yeah, we've had a few.
Yeah.
Pass the book. So the feature we do on the podcast is the previous guest will leave the next guest.
So that's mine to take home.
It is.
Lovely.
They'll leave the next guest a book, not knowing who the guest is.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So
this is left by Pack. Get it right this time. And it's Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Have you read it?
No, but that sounds fucking good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really difficult to read. I'm not going to lie. I'm not the best reader, but it does take a little kind of twice over. It's a thick one. Yeah, but that's for you, and you will leave a book for the next guest.
Okay, so
this.
mine
no, not yet.
Oh,
it's going to be a secret. It's going to be a secret.
What was Rob's one-liner?
It was something along the lines of, he's actually only 40 pages into this book.
But he's recommended it already?
Yeah, it's that good.
That's interesting.
He said it's 40 pages in.
I recommended that book to you before and I'm 40 pages in.
Exactly, yeah. Mad.
Something going on.
Who's the author?
Stephen Covey, yeah. Okay. It's an old book, but it's really good. There's a few edits of it. But any plugs, mate, while we wrapping up? Anything you want to talk about?
Just had a single out on Piv called Strung Up. If you haven't heard it, it's
mint. I really like it.
It's fully organic. I've played everything. There's a little solo in there. I've got a new sample pack coming out, which is, I've done sample packs before, but I think I've probably rushed them a little bit. But I've really taken my time on this sample pack, and it's going to be really good. So keep an eye out for that. And other than that, see you on the dance floor, I guess.
Perfect. Let's leave it there.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks
guys.
Max.
Wicked.
Nice one.
Okay.